If it were as simple as getting bulky, most guys would be walking around way more jacked than they are. Welcome to the show where we help you make smart nutrition simple. If you want proven nutrition strategies to help you build a better body and create the energy to show up for your family without overly restrictive and unrealistic dieting, then you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy this episode. Yo, what is going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ben Brown. I'm the owner here at Body Systems and head coach, and of course the host of this Smart Nutrition Made Simple show, a podcast all about breaking down nutrition, fitness, and health concepts in seemingly simplistic and easy to digest ways so that you can apply them to your life without any of the confusion or contradictory evidence that's so prevalent in our social media landscape today. And with that said, we're going to dig into another Q&A episode for this podcast. In today's episode, we're going to talk about a number of different things. So first and foremost, we're going to talk about how to get more toned, so how to have more muscle definition without getting too quote unquote bulky, if that perhaps is a concern for you. We're going to talk about what's better, heavier weights or higher reps, and how to navigate those schemes, whether you can split up your workouts and still get the same benefits. And if you do end up splitting your workouts, how to go about doing it in the right way, how to differentiate between weight loss and fat loss, specifically with a look at how muscle factors into that equation. And so kind of a number of different things with respect to body composition change as well as strength training. And so I hope you get a lot of value from this episode. Most importantly is I hope you get the tools to be able to apply this information, because at the end of the day, what good is information if we don't have the tools to be able to apply it? Right? And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in. I hope you enjoy and appreciate having you here. For someone that says that they want to get more toned, and for someone that says that they don't want to get more bulky, getting more toned, as I understand it, for most people is really just about having more muscle definition. And generally that means having less body fat. And so you want to have more defined arms or shoulders or legs or abs. For most people, typically women, will use that term toned, which would signify I want to look lean, healthy, and strong. And usually that means just losing more body fat. The counter of I don't want to get too bulky is really a logical fallacy. Generally speaking, most people, and especially women, being concerned about putting on too much muscle mass, don't actually understand what goes into actually laying down more lean muscle tissue. So 1, they don't eat enough. 2, they don't train hard enough. 3, they don't have the genetics. 4, they're usually not on anabolic steroids, which lends itself to putting on heaps of lean muscle tissue. If it were as simple as getting bulky, most guys would be walking around way more jacked than they are, despite their level of training, effort, intensity, and nutrition. And so it's really just this complete misunderstanding of what actually goes into putting on lean muscle tissue. And if you feel like you're getting bulky, then you're probably just getting fat, unfortunately. And so it would beg the question of what are you eating? What are you drinking? How are you training? And probably figuring out a way to cut back on your calories in some capacity. So what's better, heavier weights or higher reps? Totally depends. Neither is better. It depends on the person, depends on the goals, depends on their training intensity, depends on the overall volume, depends on their genetics, and how they respond to the training. So that's just a impossible question to answer. There is no better. Can you split up your workouts and still get the same benefits? And short answer is yes. And for many clients, we've done this. In fact, I used to work with golfers, and what we would often do is we would split up their training programs into half of the workout before they'd go out and play, especially on competition days, and the other half after they would train. Is this ideal? No. But given the circumstances, it's much more effective than not training at all. And I think this is the situation that we all deal with, as most of us are not professional athletes. Most of us are not professional trainers or don't spend all day in the gym. Most of us have busy lives with busy jobs and responsibilities and families and don't have a ton of time to justify spending an exorbitant amount of time training. And that's just the reality of things. So what is best might not be the most effective, or what is the most effective might not be what's the most logical for the certain individual. In which case, if it makes more sense for them to do a 20-minute workout before they go to work and the other 20 minutes after, and that's what they can realistically fit in their schedule, then that's what they should do. Would it be more effective for them to do the entire 40 minutes without interrupting the training intensity, given they're probably already warm? They can take advantage of the hormonal effects. They might be able to have more kind of neurological load. Maybe not. What matters is that they do it, and they do it consistently, and us as coaches find ways to help our clients be more consistent. At the end of the day, that's what's most important. And so if that means that it's not them following the perfect program, then you didn't build a good enough program. And instead, we need to adjust the program to fit within what they can realistically commit to. And if it looks like 20 minutes a day, 7 days a week, instead of 3 days a week at an hour, then great, let's do that instead. And that's one of the things that I've really changed my belief system on over the past 20 years, is simply figuring out, okay, where's a realistic place for us to be able to start a client truly in a way that they can commit to. Because despite the fact that they tell me they can train 5 days a week for 45 minutes to an hour, what I also know from them is they work 10 hours a day. They've got kids' sports. They try and prepare all their own foods. They stay up way too late. They wake up way too early. All of those things would lend itself to, they might be consistent with this for a week or two, but beyond that, they're probably going to crash and burn. And instead, we'd be a lot more likely for them to be successful if we can set them up for success in the beginning. Hey guys, I want to interrupt this conversation briefly with an exciting announcement. If you're a father and struggling to lose the pounds that have crept on over the years, I understand your challenge. You're juggling a successful career, a loving family, and now you're looking to regain that energy and physique that seems to have slipped away. And that's exactly why I created PrimeFit Operating System. PrimeFit OS is a unique hybrid coaching program designed specifically for men like you. Now, you guys know me, we're not about quick fixes or impossible routines. Instead, we focus on real sustainable change through personalized nutrition and science-driven strength training, all wrapped up in a supportive community with expert guidance directly from me and my 20 years of experience working with men just like you. Imagine mastering your nutrition without restrictive dieting, getting stronger and leaner, and boosting your overall energy, all without overwhelming your already busy schedule. With PrimeFit OS, you're getting more than just a cookie-cutter nutrition and fitness plan. You're embarking on a transformative journey that fits into your life, not the other way around. So, if you're ready to take the first step towards a healthier, leaner, stronger, more energetic, confident, ass-kicking you, join us over at PrimeFit Operating System. Trust me, guys, your family, your career, and most importantly, you will thank you for it. So if you guys are interested in getting started and want to find out more about the program, let's chat. Just head over to primefitos.com/call and grab a time on my calendar. Remember, it's your time to be at your prime. How do we differentiate between weight loss and fat loss? And how does muscle factor into that equation? And so this is a really important factor in body composition change, is that we have certain data and progress indicators that we're paying attention to that help us differentiate between just overall weight loss and an actual body composition change. Because when we're changing our body composition, like, yes, we might be losing weight, but weight is a very nebulous term. Like, weight refers to literally anything on our body. So we could be losing body fat, but we could also be losing water. We're also losing, we could be losing lean muscle tissue. We're also, depending on, the physiological environment and the stressors at play, we're losing, bone density as well. And that certainly happens as we age through this very slow metabolic process. And so for someone to say, well, I've lost, 20 pounds by aggressively doing this diet or by exercising it off, that's all good and well, but it says nothing about how their body composition has actually changed. And I think we're starting to understand a lot more about these biochemical and physiological circumstances, to the degree that what we really know is, we want to lose weight. Generally speaking, a lot of people, they want to lose weight, but what they're really referring to is wanting to lose body fat. No one wants to actively lose lean muscle tissue. No one wants to go from a 250 pound, overweight dude to a 200 pound overweight dude, which is very, very possible. Most people, they want to look better. They want to feel better. They want to have more confidence. They want to look good with their shirt off, or look good in a swimsuit, which generally means I want to lose body fat, but I want to maintain, if not improve, lean muscle tissue so that I can have more tone, more muscle definition, fill out my shirts better, feel more confident in my skin. And the way in which we go about doing that is what's most important about this process, because anyone can lose weight. All you need to do is follow conventional wisdom of eat less and exercise more, right? Anyone can slash their calories and start exercising more and drop pounds over a short period of time. But what we know very clearly about what happens metabolically through this process is, depending on the degree of caloric deficit, we're going to lose a lot of lean muscle tissue through this process, which means we're not actually changing our body composition. Our body composition might actually be staying the same, or it might even be getting worse, because typically we're losing, depending on how aggressive we're being, we might be losing 50% of that weight from lean muscle tissue and 50% from body fat. And what makes that worse is that because of the metabolic compensation that occurs, because of the pushback that happens, like increasing hunger, increasing lethargy, increasing cravings, our body wants to do everything it can to get back to that kind of metabolic set point. And so when we start eating more calories again, which is bound to happen, because typically the ways in which we go about this dieting process are not sustainable, well, then we're more likely to put on a lot more body fat through that recomposition, if you will, to the degree that now we are fatter than we were before with significantly less lean muscle tissue, which is a much, much worse position to be in metabolically, physically, from a quality of life standpoint, from a hormonal health standpoint. And so when we look at this weight loss process, we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to actually focus on losing body fat and maintaining, if not improving, lean muscle mass, which means we need to make sure we're doing it slow enough, depending on the person. We need to make sure that we're eating enough protein. We need to make sure we're managing the type and intensity and volume of exercise that's going to be able to support lean muscle tissue. And the way that we actually determine how we're progressing is, yes, of course, we want to look at scale weight as one indicator, but we also need to look at circumference measurements as the way that we look at things. Now, of course, we could look at a DEXA scan, we could look at an in-body, we could do a bod pod, but what's most realistic for people to do more consistently and reliably is just rely on circumference measurements, using a tape measure, measuring your hips, measuring your belly button and waist, measuring your chest, arms and legs, but just specifically through the midsection, if nothing else, to be able to see, okay, maybe my weight's staying the same, but my midsection is going down, my hips are going down, my chest is going down. So I know I'm losing body fat through this process, which is ideal. And then, of course, we can look at pictures. So we've got some subjective feedback of looking how the body's changing. And then assuming that depending on the person, depending on their training age, depending on the volume of training, depending on how many calories they're eating, then we can make some assumptions around how much of the weight they're losing might be lean muscle tissue, or how much of the weight they're gaining might be lean muscle tissue, and so on. Well, there you have it. That's it for this episode of the Smart Nutrition Made Simple show. If you have questions that you'd like us to tackle in an upcoming episode, then we can't wait to hear from you. So you can submit your questions directly by just messaging us on our social media. That's at Body Systems Coaching. Or you can just message me personally, ben@bodysystems.com. Appreciate you guys listening, and I will catch you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. And if you found this content valuable, here are 4 ways I can help you in your nutrition journey for free. 1. Grab a free copy of my Fat Loss Fix Guide at fatlossfixguide.com. 2. Join my free group at smartnutritionmadesimple.com. 3. Subscribe to my YouTube channel at smartnutritionmadesimpletv.com. 4. Leave a 5-star rating and positive review so that we can gain access to more nutrition experts ready to share their knowledge with you and ultimately help more people make smart nutrition simple.